I'm sitting in the beautiful Wyndham Theatre in a boat. You can't see it, but it is a boat, and I am swimming and tiding away to glory with Lolita Chakrabarti, who's a playwright, actor, writer, and adapted a play called a book called Life of Pi. We all know about it. Some have read the book, some have seen the film, and now they can see the play that you have written. So thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.
And allowing me to tide away to glory with you. Welcome to Chai Chat, Lolita.
Thank you.
So I'm told that this was your favorite book.
It's one of them, yeah, definitely. I was a big reader when I was younger, and I read Life of Pi in 2002 when it came out, and I loved it.
Yes.
So when the opportunity came up to adapt it, I leapt at it.
Yeah. So when I heard that Life of Pi in the film, I saw the film, and Irfan was in it, and one of my friend had done the casting for it, and so I knew a bit about the film and about the background of the film. But when I thought of it as a play, it was just so difficult.
Yeah. It is. It's very difficult. God, Irfan Khan, what an amazing actor he was. One of my favourites. Yeah, very difficult. But I didn't. People would say that to me. Gosh, how are you going to do it? I was like, I can feel it. I can feel how I'm going to do it. And only when we did the first night in Sheffield at the Crucible Theatre did I think, God, I'm crazy to have tried to do this. This is a really difficult task, to put the sea on stage, to put a boy in the middle of the Pacific Ocean for most of the play, on a solid stage. How do you do that and make it believable? But then that was the challenge.
Yeah, and the most difficult thing in life is to make what you feel, make the other person feel. So because a lot of it happens in the sea, a lot of it is just introspection, a lot of it is, what's, just to not, without giving too much of the play, give us a sneak peek of what has gone in the prep.
Well, introspection is interesting because the novel is very introspective. It's all about philosophy and what do you do when you're struggling to survive.
Yeah.
And it's from one person's point of view, from a voice inside this boy's head.
Yes.
So you're right, to put that on stage is a real challenge, and that was actually the key. Because I needed to make it action. It couldn't be, we don't want to sit and watch somebody thinking for an hour and a half on stage. You want action, and what do you practically do to survive? And all of it is in the book, actually. So even while Pi in the book is thinking of, I need food, I need water, I need shelter, I need safety, how do I survive with these wild animals? I miss my family. Do I still believe in God when he's made this happen? All of those things have been translated into action, so that you see, so it's something that is happening on stage rather than being thought.
And also the challenge for you must be because their film was already made on it.
Yeah. But they're very different mediums.
Yes, of course.
So, a book is a very personal experience of you reading something and you're imagining it all in your head. A film is very literal. You're watching these beautiful pictures. I mean, a stunning film, but it is telling a particular version of the story. And the play is definitely based on the book. Yann Martel, who wrote the book, had a really interesting sort of observation about theatre and film. And he said that if in a book you write Pi sits at a table, in your head you're just thinking of whatever table applies to you. In your head you're just thinking, right, he's at a table, something that you can see. In a film, they go all crazy about what kind of table is it? Is it a wooden table? Is it a plastic table? Is it a posh table? Is it a cheap table? So then it's very literal. And on stage, do you need a table? You can just have the chair. So, it's a very different way of telling a story.
And it does intend to make you think about life, about the struggles, and about how you deal with those struggles. How does it speak to you with its philosophy and your life?
Wow, that's a deep question. How long have you got? I mean, one of the beautiful things about the book is it talks about faith, and not in terms, well, definitely in terms of religion. I mean, it
yes.
obviously has to limit to certain religions, so it doesn't deal with all of them. But specifically Muslim, Hindu and Christian. And what do I believe, and why do I believe, and what makes your faith evolve, and what challenges it. So I grew up in a Hindu house. I'm Hindu from my parents, but I'm not a practicing Hindu at all. I like Hinduism very much, but I sort of watch it from a distance. But I went to Catholic school in secondary school, so I had a very close-up observation of Christianity. Muslim religion I don't know that much about, but I've researched and looked at it. And it's just really fascinating, isn't it? Faith is something that comforts you in times of trouble. And I think after COVID, where every single one of us in the world, how extraordinary to say that, has struggled in some way, has lost or suffered or been anxious about what does the world hold ahead, that all of us have had to pull on elements of not religion but of faith in your family, your friends, what's important to you, the universe, what do I want in the future. So you see, I could talk for ages about this answer, so I'll stop there.
So what is it that brings you hope? Is it a God? Is it what? Because some people practicing brings hope. In your time of trouble, what do you seek?
Creativity. Yeah, creativity. So maybe that's a version of faith and hope, because you're making something that will say something through what you're experiencing in a story. I've always loved stories. So creativity, I guess.
Brilliant. It's a difficult, how this book and this whole philosophy is quite relevant today, isn't it? When we are being stretched in our, it's difficult to say that I practice and I do this and I that, and then suddenly you are stereotyped. How do you think this book relates today?
One of the reasons I mean, the film's fabulous, but the reason I went back to the source of the book is there are chapters in the book about religion, and they're funny. They're funny. They're not offensive, but they set up these three religious leaders, sort of slightly pompous in their belief of their own religion, and they set them up against each other in order to win Pi's loyalty to their religion. And I loved that. I thought, gosh, we need to laugh at this, right? We don't need to laugh at anybody, but we need to look and just not take ourselves so seriously and see that in many ways everybody's kind of saying the same thing. So that was one of the reasons that I really liked the book. And so I think that's why it's resonated with people, because we're all fed up of being told what we should believe and what we should think and what we should follow, and we need to make our own choices, right? And the book does it beautifully, and hopefully the play has captured that as well, that it gives you the options. And what do you think?
Brings you back to humanity and existential realities of and vulnerabilities of your life, which actually are, some people seek through different religions, I would suppose, and faith and philosophy, whatever. You're also an actor.
I am.
And you must have been asked several times, what do you enjoy most?
And
does your actor interfere with your playwright when you, or the directors? He could have acted this piece of mine better.
I love acting. I absolutely love it. It's just in my bones. So I trained as an actor for 3 years, and I've done it for the odd 32 years now. So I love it. But writing is a way to say what you want to say and has more power. So an actor, you have to be free and you have to be open and you have to play. And as a writer, I get to shape the narrative. And that's very exciting. So I actually love both of them now. There was a time where I was a bit in denial as a writer. I was like, well, I'm kind of writing, but I'm an actor really. I'm an actor who writes. And now I'm absolutely both, and they're very complementary.
I want to ask you, when did that shift happen, and what made it happen?
Of accepting the writing?
No, of accepting and then going for it.
Well, the writing I was doing, I left drama school 32 years ago, and I started
You
writing.
look very young.
Ah, bless you! What a good, excellent. That'll be the light.
Dare I may ask, you have children too?
I do. I have two daughters. Yeah, I do.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll ask the age.
I've forgotten the question. So,
Writing.
I started writing. 6 years out of drama school. So I've been writing for a really long time now. And I just kept doing it. I didn't have much success to start with. I kept it quite quiet, so I didn't tell anyone I was doing it. I just did it quietly to see if I could. And then when I started to come out with my writing, it was hard. People didn't really want the stories I was writing. The world has changed, right? The world has opened up and is much more open to stories by people like me that reflects my life and my version of the world. So in the last 10, 12 years, it's changed. And as people go, yes, we want your stories, my God, there's nothing like an opportunity to make you go, okay, I'll deliver my story. So I think it's a kind of two-way thing. As the world has opened up, I've accepted it more.
Oh, that's brilliant. And that's a great skill to have, that you can write a play for yourself. Have you done it?
I have written a play for myself, but we haven't quite got dates and dates in place
So
yet.
is that what is coming next?
Not immediately. There's quite a few things coming next, but I can't ever talk about them, in that
Okay.
way that you can't quite say, but there are quite a few things coming next.
Oh, brilliant. You please pitch for your play. Why should we come and see, or why should people come and see? Tell them.
Tell them what directly?
This is
Hello,
Chai
everyone.
Chat for you.
Hello, Chai Chat. So, Life of Pi is a fantastic story, and it is about a boy from Pondicherry who lives in the zoo with his mum and dad and sister, and they decide to emigrate to Canada with all the animals because of political unrest in India at the time. And the ship sadly sinks. He loses all his family, and Pi ends up on a boat with a Bengal tiger, a hyena, an orangutan, and a zebra. And the story is about how or who survives and what do they eat.
It must be beautiful. I will see and tell you how I liked it. And so time for a short break. After that, we shall be meeting the tiger, not the zebra or the hyena.
No, it's the tiger.
Only the tiger. We only get to meet the tiger. So stay tuned.